I told myself that I wasn't allowed to record again until my new mic and my new camera lens came in the mail. And I'm pretty sure we can all see the irony behind that. Because now that I think about it, a lot of us identify ourselves as perfectionists, and a lot of us use this as a survival strategy of sorts, because, if I make everything perfect and I do that with absolutely every single aspect of my life, nothing can go wrong. That's how I get things done. That's how good things are assured, and everything is okay. But literally the only thing that perfectionism is good for is getting nothing done, feeling stuck, and feeling absolutely shitty while you're doing so. Because a lot of us that identify ourselves as perfectionists, or it doesn't matter if it's now, at some point in our lives, just whenever you embark on this perfectionism journey, you're not a perfectionist. We don't crave for things to be perfect, even though that's what the definition of a perfectionist is. We crave for things to go right. We crave for things to go good, to not be judged. Because I know a lot of us, like myself, we want everything to be perfect because we don't want someone to be mad at us. We don't want someone to think we're not putting in enough effort. We're worried about the opinions of like our family, our peers, whatever. And, it's a lot of times it's not even for our own well-being, if that makes any sense. So whenever you start trying to make everything perfect, you have this underlying fear. And whenever you have that fear, the pressure on you is so hard that a lot of times you end up procrastinating and not doing anything at all. Because even just me sitting here planning on recording this video, I've thought about recording since 9 o'clock in the morning, this morning. And if I look at the time while I'm talking to you, it is 4:28 p.m., okay? So it's very evident how long I've sat here and I've procrastinated because I was afraid of things not going right. And it's funny because I told you guys that I just had this whole crisis of like, oh my god, I'm just gonna do my own thing, and I am. But the thing is that perfectionism and that fear of not being good enough, it just doesn't go away. There was a friend that I had once, and she absolutely loved animation like I did. And, she wanted to make this animated show so badly, just like a YouTube Shorts type thing. She kept putting this off for months because she's like, oh, well, I need to do the outline a bit more. I need to like fix the character concept sketches, whatever. And sadly, if I go on YouTube now, where's this animated show? It's nowhere to be found. As perfectionists, we're not sitting and waiting for the right moment to do something like I thought I was doing earlier today. We're waiting for the moment that we feel safe enough. And unfortunately, a lot of times for us, that moment just never really seems to come. I could sit and I could bitch about the things that perfectionism does, from just being exhausted by holding all of that weight from the standards that you put on yourself. A lot of times, I'm gonna take myself as an example. I was what you would consider a gifted kid, right? So a lot of times, everybody expected me to do things perfectly. Granted, a lot of them being in school, but where I was so book smart, like I was expected to be able to know how to do things that a 6-year-old probably wouldn't. So because people instilled those standards on me, I started instilling them on myself. I had become so tired because as I was 10 years old, that's whenever I first started teaching myself how to edit. And I remember getting so pissed at myself because I had tried to download a version of a editing software for free through means, right? And I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I remember getting so mad because I couldn't do it. And it's like, girl, you're 10, what are you doing? And just the exhaustion from that alone, I know a lot of us feel that. The guilt and the shame that comes whenever you're not able to meet those standards, because it's like, oh my god, why can't I just do this thing? It doesn't make any sense. Whenever It does, though. I could sit and I could talk about even just the dopamine hit of like planning something versus actually being able to do it, and you know, the fear of everybody moving forward around you and you staying behind, and a lot of that being caused by the procrastination that comes from your perfectionism. But I hate to break it to you, there is no such thing as perfect. And I know as you're sitting and you're looking at me on this screen, you're probably cringing because I sound like your 13-year-old boyfriend, okay, that you had in high school. However, I mean, it's just true. I mean, whether it comes to your appearance, you trying to get your hair perfect, you're trying to make your drawing perfect, you're trying to make the perfect soup. Because, yeah, you know, let's actually take that soup. Because personally, before I couldn't eat dairy anymore, I loved me some potato soup, okay? Potato soup was my favorite. A lot of times, you know, if I had gotten a bowl of soup from Bob Evans and I'm like, oh my god, this is such like the perfect potato soup, it's so good, it's perfect. Someone could be beside me and they taste that same soup and they're like, it's a bit too salty for me. You know, because perfection, not only is it fake, like a lot of things, like everything else, really, and I know that's a controversial statement, but that's just how I feel, but it is subjective. And perfectionism, by that standard, it can't be real, and it can't make logical sense, because not only is perfection in general subjective, but your perfectionism is subjective. Your perfectionism, it's based on what you think is perfect. Or for those of us who had these standards instilled on us by our parents or our guardians at first, and then that translated onto us later in life, based on what other people think is perfect. But is that everyone? Is that what the trees think are perfect? Is that what the mushrooms think are perfect? No. It's not. And quite frankly, it never will be. As you navigate life, if you try to do everything perfectly and you succeed at absolutely everything, you learn nothing. Whenever you do something, like if I draw a drawing that looks absolutely shitty, you know, if I were to take my sketchbook right here and I were to sketch out a face for you guys, like draw some eyes, you know, basic anatomy and all of this stuff, and it just looks absolutely horrendous, right? Because if I show you this, look at this. I did this in like 3 seconds. It's a speed drawing, but like that anatomy is terrible, okay? That anatomy is ass. And I didn't do that speed drawing successfully, but you know what I learned? I learned that instead of starting with the eyes that far apart, maybe I'll start with the nose, maybe I'll start with the mouth or another part of the face in order to do it more efficiently, because that's how we learn, you know? So if you take the safe route and the safe option of doing absolutely everything perfectly, not only are you putting so much unnecessary mental toll on yourself, but you're also not learning and you're not evolving. And personally, that is one of the biggest points of living and experiencing life, is to learn things. It's not to be perfect, but it's to experience, and it is to fail, and it is to flop, because there is so much beauty in flaws. Those are the things that move us forward. So if you have been wanting to do something, if you needed a sign to start that short film, you know, start your YouTube channel, make that gift for your boyfriend, apply to that university with an essay that, you know, you've rewritten 30 times, write the essay, write the screenplay, hit record, make the video, you know, like do shit shittily. That's the best thing you could do, in my opinion.